Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about the wild ride of China's facial recognition industry. This is a story about a technology that promised a future where your face was the only key you'd ever need. This one sentence was basically the sales pitch for a revolution. It was this powerful, simple idea that just took off in China. Imagine a world where your face is your wallet, your key, and your ID. It's the ultimate convenience, right? The ultimate security, all rolled into one. So to really get what happened, we need to rewind a bit, back to the world before the pandemic. You have to understand this tech wasn't some little niche experiment. It was one of the hottest things going in the tech world, and it was exploding in popularity at a crazy speed. It all really kicked off with this incredible demo by Alibaba's founder Jack Ma, way back in 2015. He bought a stamp just by looking at a camera. That one moment lit a fire. A couple of years later, you could walk into a special KFC and order with just a smile. And by 2019, these little dragonfly units from Alibaba were everywhere, making paying with your face at a 7-Eleven feel, well, completely normal. The momentum just seemed unstoppable. But then, in early 2020, something so simple brought this entire multi-billion-dollar industry to a screeching halt. And it was just a small piece of cloth that billions of people started wearing. We all remember it, right? The pandemic hit, and suddenly, masks were everywhere. And just like that, all those facial recognition systems that had been rolled out, well, they broke. They just couldn't see the full faces they needed to work. That frictionless future, it suddenly had a ton of friction. Of course, the tech giants went into a frenzy trying to solve this. Companies like Baidu scrambled to build new AI that could identify you even with a mask on. But even their absolute best efforts kind of hit a wall. They could only get to about 95% accuracy. And that number, as we're about to see, is a lot more trouble than it sounds. Okay, so this is where that number gets really interesting. 95% accuracy, that sounds pretty good, right? And for something like, say, clocking into work, it's fine. If it fails, you just try again. No biggie. But when you're talking about your money, that 5% gap is a massive security hole. It was a total deal breaker. And just like that, the facial payment boom was over. But now, masks are coming off all over the world, and this industry is roaring back to life. And as it does, we're seeing this fascinating, high-stakes chess match start to unfold between the established global players and a new wave of super aggressive Chinese titans. So, you can see here there are really two distinct camps. On one side, you've got the pioneers, companies you've probably heard of, like Microsoft from the US and NEC from Japan. These guys have been in the game for decades. And on the other side, you have these incredibly fast-moving Chinese companies like SenseTime and Dahua, and they are scaling at just a breathtaking speed. And this right here illustrates the sheer speed of these Chinese companies perfectly. Just look at this. In the single year of 2020, SenseTime filed almost as many patents as NEC, a global leader, did in the last 2 decades combined. It's just an incredible display of focus and speed. And if you look at their patent strategies, you see two totally different ways of thinking. The global veterans, your Microsofts and NECs, they're playing a worldwide game, right? They're spreading their patents out across all the major markets. But the Chinese firms? Nope. They are going for complete home field advantage, focusing almost all of their brainpower on dominating their own huge domestic market first. And that laser focus also applies to what they're patenting. So the global giants, they're building this balanced portfolio. A little bit of finance, a little bit of transport. The Chinese companies, on the other hand, they are specializing like crazy to win very specific niches. And one of the biggest niches they're all aiming for is public security. And this focus on security, it's having some very real-world impacts. This tech is being used in huge systems like the Skynet City Surveillance Network to catch fugitives at airports and train stations. It even led to this bizarre thing where concerts for a super popular singer, Jackie Chung, became famous hotspots for arresting wanted criminals who just wanted to see a show. But what this all really points to is something way bigger than just paying for things or catching criminals. It's about making this almost sci-fi idea of how we interact with the world a reality. The industry has a cool name for it: stealth authentication. And the whole idea is to verify who you are without you ever having to stop or tap or scan a single thing. The security check just happens in the background. It's completely invisible to you. Let me give you a practical example. Think about shopping. The old way of cashless still has steps, right? You have to pull out your phone, open an app, scan a QR code. The new way, the one powered by stealth authentication, is so much simpler. You literally just take what you want and leave. The system sees you, it knows who you are, and it handles the payment automatically. So this idea, this invisible layer of technology, is really the end goal. It's a vision that's actually been around since the early days of computing, but it's only now that it's actually becoming possible. A computer scientist named Mark Weiser was a real pioneer of this. He called it ubiquitous computing. And his argument was that the ultimate goal of tech wasn't for us to carry around more and more gadgets. It was for the technology to just disappear, to weave itself into the fabric of the real world all around us. Just imagine that future for a second. A world where you don't have to consciously interact with a computer or a phone for all your daily tasks. The world itself authenticates you as you move through it, letting you get on the subway, walk into your office, or buy groceries, all seamlessly. Technology stops being the thing you focus on, and instead, it just facilitates your life. And look, while we have other biometrics like fingerprint or retina scans, facial recognition is really the key to unlocking this future. And why is that? Because it's the only one that's truly non-contact and passive. It works from a distance without you having to do a single thing, which makes it the perfect engine for this invisible, ubiquitous world. So as this powerful technology comes roaring back to life, moving way beyond just payments and embedding itself into the very infrastructure of our world, we're left with a really crucial question. In a future that's designed to be this seamless, this invisible, who is actually holding the seams together?